Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome to episode 26 of the Shredcast. I am joined again by Temp. He is a longtime guest on the show. He was actually guest number 1 on the show. So I'm happy to have him back on. We're going to talk a little bit about Tekken 8. Temp was actually in both betas. I was only in the second beta, and I was lucky enough to get in through one of our friends gave me a code, so I was able to play. And I have a lot to say about it, mostly good. And so does Temp. So Temp, thanks for coming on, man.
Yeah, it's good to be back.
Yeah, so it's both late for us. So initially, like to apologize. Like you cannot see Temp, but he is tired, and we're both tired. So sorry about that. So Temp, what was your initial thoughts on closed beta 2 specifically? Because you said there was a lot of changes between closed beta 1 and closed beta 2.
Well, I think it's hard to say, but overall, I mean, the broad picture is that I was very happy with the game in the first beta, and I loved it even more in the second beta. And in the first beta, I was mostly just playing Tekken 7, since most of my combos and tactics transferred over. In this beta, I actually had time to sit down and learn new stuff, because I couldn't play sets, but I had access to the game. So I'm like, well, I might as well learn some of the new mechanics, some of the new moves added to Asuka, some of the sub mechanics like the move enhancements and whatnot, and that really changed the game for me in a positive way. I think the game is very fun right now. I'm usually considered the negative one on the Nethercast, but I mostly have good things to say. The things that people are complaining about, I did not have a problem with. So it'll be curious what it looks like in January. But overall, I think the game feels very different. See, I think that's really the biggest difference between the first beta and the second beta. The first beta, I'm like, this is Tekken 7 fixed. But Tekken 7 had some major problems with loading and major problems with graphical fidelity.
Yeah, the biggest thing was loading.
Fixed. Yeah.
I remember that between games is like every single time you would hit play again or whatever rematch, and it was as if you're just starting a whole new set over again, and it would take so long between each one.
Yeah, it's just, it literally, you can't do anything without get ready for the next battle and then 45 seconds, right? So yeah, just that being gone is so transformative. And if you haven't played Tekken 7, it is just impossible to explain to someone how important this fix is. So literally, Tekken 8 was just Tekken 7 with the loading fixed, game of the year. But nonetheless, there are also 100 other great things about the game that I can't say enough great things about it, honestly. I think Tekken 8 is fantastic so far.
Yeah, and the feel that I got from you was, with the first beta, you're like, oh my gosh, this is going to be game of the year. I can't wait to play. There are some issues that I have with it, but still, regardless, it's still one of the funnest fighting games I've played in probably like the last 3 years. And then closed beta 2 comes back and you're like, oh my God, didn't they speed up backdash or something like that?
But no, I think backdashes actually got worse. That might be my one criticism of Tekken 8 is my Korean backdashes are not as effective.
That has been a key thing that a lot of Tekken players have talked about, was Korean backdashes as prominent as it was in Tekken 7.
It's really it's one of only 2 actual criticisms I have of the game right now. Everything else is just glowing, but that is a problem. Asuka got hit pretty bad. I'm going to use probably mostly Lars when the game comes out. I don't know what his backdash is like at the moment. But
dude, you're wrecking with Asuka. Like it was getting frustrating, man, when we were playing.
Well, Asuka's a frustrating character. I rush down with her a lot, but she's primarily known for defense. She is the defensive archetype of June, and June is the offensive archetype of Asuka. So, but I rush down no matter who I play, because that's just how I play. But even if I don't rush down, she has so many good high and low crushing moves and combo starters that just make her game very terrifying.
See, I didn't get a chance to play June. Was June very aggressive?
She's very tricky. If you don't know the matchup, you're dead, because you will not know when to block or when to stop blocking more so, and you won't know when to duck and when to block high. And
and we're gonna we're gonna get more into this when it gets to roster, because I am currently in a character crisis right now of who I'm going to play, because in the beta I only like this is just Tekken, but you pick one character and you play that character for like months on end, because it takes that long to actually like really get down that character. And I played Jin throughout the beta, and I actually had a lot of fun. It was the first time I ever played him. And I always try playing him, but I mean, Tekken 70 is super hard, so yeah.
And he feels very, I don't know anything about Jin, but playing Jin in this game does not feel like playing Jin in the last game.
No,
it feels like a different character to me.
I went and played Tekken 7 the day after the beta ended, just to play Jin, just with everything I know, and almost none of the buttons matched. Like
that's interesting.
There was like a few. I mean, a couple of his just regular combo strings or whatever, but none of the things that you use in 7 doesn't. I don't think is going to transfer over to 8. I could be wrong. For people who mained him in 7 and then going to 8, I mean, comment down below. I'd love to know. But June, if you say that looks pretty fun, because I like the trickiness. The kind of tricky characters, and we'll get more into the roster.
On top of that, so yeah.
And she what?
I believe she has a healing factor too that she can activate.
Yeah, but I didn't play a lot of Junes, which was very, very weird. It was just Jins and
that is weird. I played 20% Junes in my ranked experience, so it was strange.
It was all Jins and Azucena.
I only saw like 5 characters total. I saw a lot of King. I saw a lot of June.
I saw a lot of
Brian.
I didn't see a lot of Brian. That's interesting. I didn't see a lot of Brian.
And a lot of Azucena, Coffee Girl. I saw quite a bit of her.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and so that's our initial thoughts. And by the way, so gameplay is what we're going to talk about first. Graphics, netcode, roster, and then we'll get into our final thoughts. But those are like the main points that we kind of are laying out with our discussion of the game and everything. But so our initial thoughts was, both of us can agree that it was a phenomenal game, dude. It's like I haven't had that much fun like initially in a long time. Like the moment I got into the game, I'm like, oh my gosh, this like it felt like home to me.
Yeah, and just learning, just the journey of really getting used to the versatility of heat. I love heat in this game, because there's so many ways you can approach it. Rage drives were really nice in Tekken 7. No one really likes rage arts, but they are what they are. They're not going away.
Yeah,
but I like rage drives. That rage drives are pretty cool. And this is just a way more versatile version of rage drive. Tekken 8 is just a much more creative game in terms of the mechanics. So. Not that in Tekken was already a pretty creative game too, because you have this huge template of moves, and now granted there's a hierarchy in how good they are, but depending on the matchup, you can get very creative what you can do. And you can approach characters in many, many different ways, and heat is such a nice new layer to that.
How'd you feel? How'd you feel about? Oh gosh, well, I'm already drawing a blank here. It was called when you knock the player back and then you run at them.
I think it's heat drive, but I don't know. I think I may have
is that what it is right now. How did you feel?
Rush?
Heat rush. That's what it was.
The special move that ends your heat is heat smash.
Yes,
I know that. I don't know what the actual like heat charge is called. It's like Tropic Thunder. I just know the sound it makes when it takes a man's life. I don't know what it's called.
Yeah. That's my favorite comedy of all time, by the way.
It's good.
It is. Good. It's one of my favorite comedies. But yeah, I really liked the versatility. Yeah, there was like every other which way. I mean, I'm really interested to see the Tekken World Tour when this game comes out, and because there's all sorts of ways. Pretty much like almost every character in Tekken 7 is like, find a way to pop your character up and then do your combo from there. And Tekken 8, it was like there was so much more to do. you know, or
Yeah, I mean, once you optimize the Tekken 7, especially with some characters, it's not obvious with everyone, but with some characters,
yeah.
like one reason why people didn't like Kazumi so much in Tekken 7 is because their down forward one was just so stupid good, and you can basically get really good results with like 3 moves, and
Mm-hmm.
people got tired of that. So,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, this is true of every character. And some characters are meant to be fairly 50-50 heavy by design. So I think
Cough,
just
cough,
the
fang. Yeah.
oh, what's up? Oh
I
yeah,
said cough,
dude,
cough, fang. Yeah.
I wouldn't know because I did not see a single Fang. I forgot Fang, and I forgot the name of the other guy I was just about to mention. Claudio. I forgot they were even in the beta. I completely forgot they were a thing. So yeah,
Fang, Claudio. I didn't see Hart. I saw one Lars, saw one Brian, and I played. You played a little bit longer because I got into the beta the day like a day late, so I didn't get as much time as you guys did. But gosh dang it, like I said, it was just Jins and Asusenas like everywhere. That's all it was.
I wish I could have played more ranked, but I mean, it's a blessing that I couldn't because the reason I didn't play more ranked because I was playing you guys,
Yeah.
and that was what I wanted to do more anyway.
Mm-hmm.
So I got to play you. I got to play D4. I got to play Gab Standard. Great Kung Lao. Got to play him. Dude, he leveled up so much by the end as well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I
Oh,
really had to
dude,
rethink my
he
game plan.
had some of the best Jin tech I've seen, dude. It like he was like making all those like short videos with all the different combos that he had, and I was like, geez, dude, that was one of my favorite things was watching Temp versus GKL because I was like, dude, I want to see some like high level Asuka and high level Jins go at it, and that was super fun. That's all I did for like from 9 o'clock till 12 o'clock on the last day. I just watched you guys play. It was so much fun.
You know what, too, man? Like, I was like, GG's to GKL because I was like, man, he was rough. I'm like, okay,
Yeah.
I think I got this figured out. And then the beta ends. I'm like, son of a. Yeah, so GGS, Great Kung Lao. I'll see you in January, or I'll see you in November with Grand Blue.
I was gonna say is GKL like the big Grand Blue player or who?
He's one of them. Yeah, I'd say that the big Grand Blue players are me, GKL, and Gab.
What about Benevolent?
Benevolent, no.
Oh,
Benevolent
okay,
does not like
okay.
Grand Blue or anime.
I was
Yeah.
like, it's one of them. It's either Gab Standard. I always forgot which one. It's like Benevolent just doesn't like anime at all. Like
Well, it's
not
funny,
just
he
anime
does
games,
like
just
anime.
anime.
Like, yeah.
It's
Well,
not just games. It's just the anime in general. He just doesn't like.
that's actually not. Well, you would get that impression, but it's really the opposite. He hates anime games, but like he watches My Hero Academia. He watches. He watched Rurouni Kenshin. He does like. I'm pretty sure he's into the whole Cowboy Bebop, Samurai Champloo stuff too. So it's just Guilty Gear and things that remind him of Guilty Gear. He is not a fan of.
All right. So yeah, the only thing about the gameplay that I found was the reason and it was also the reason I mentioned Heat Rush is like I like the knockdown and I like because one of the things I hated is for instance when you got like a far pushing knockdown, you know, or like a shielded knockdown in Tekken 7 was you have to, you know, scoot forward, you know, you have to pretty much like run forward again. And a lot of people I know actually for some of the things I've been hearing on Twitter is that a lot of, you know, people want that ability to kind of play footsies or, you know, around when you knock somebody down. They like that ability to like move around. Well, in Tekken 8, I really liked the fact that it's like you knock someone down, okay, I'm heat rushing forward. You know, I'm already in your face. Do you feel that it was good that after you heat rush, do you think you should still be able to follow up with a combo, or do you like that you're all you're doing is just like you pretty much get your turn again?
I love the amount of plus frames to this game, so I would say I
Mm-hmm.
like it overall. I can see why people might not love it, but for me, it's heaven because I just want to keep my turn forever. I don't want you to ever stop blocking. That's how I play fighting games. So for me,
Yeah.
it's great.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, that's all I had about that. But any other thoughts on the gameplay? I mean, that was the only negative I can think of on the gameplay, and it wasn't even that negative. It wasn't even negative. It was just kind of like, you know, I kind of like that you hit them and run forward, but I know a lot of people didn't like that.
I just I do think the game is a little 50-50 heavy right now, which would be fine if the backdash was better. And like whip punishing. What's up?
That is another big thing. And you know this because I'm a Lydia player, and she argued with us one of the best sidesteps in Tekken 7. And you're like, you know, I remember you being here and you're like, I don't know how like Casey sidesteps some of these things, because that's one of my biggest things is I love to do, you know, backdash, Korean backdash, sidestep. That like movement is such a key thing for me. And that's why I even asked you, I'm like, dude, do you know of any characters in Tekken 8 who are just like, who has the best movement in Tekken 8? That's what I want to know. And because there's a lot of times I was trying to sidestep or backdash to punish, and I couldn't do it with not near as good as I could in Tekken 7.
Yeah, it was kind of crazy because I played your Lydia, and you kept my moves kept whiffing because of your sidestep. And I was like, I didn't even know Lydia had a good sidestep. I didn't know that was a thing that Lydia had. And I thought you were doing like a stance, like a sway. It's like, oh, that must be like a Lydia stance that, you know, that makes her invulnerable to certain highs.
She's just really mids. Specifically her down sidestep. Like it is specific to her down sidestep.
And I thought, well, hey, maybe I just misunderstood Tekken. Maybe my sidestep is also that good. And then I tried to sidestep and get bodied. So I was like, no, it must be a Lydia thing. I still don't really know anything about Lydia, to be honest with you. So that's something I may like retroactively research. Mm-hmm. But I just wish I think they tried to artificially improve the offensive neutral, which I don't think was necessary. And I think 50-50 is fine. You know, 50-50s have been around in Tekken forever. Mm-hmm. Kazuya is classically a 50-50 character. Mm-hmm. I just don't quite understand why we can't have good backdashes and then 50-50s, right? Like I said, I don't remember Jin's lows being this strong. I just have no memory of that.
Have you seen? Have you seen that video someone made on Twitter? I know you're not active on Twitter, but somebody did post a video and they showed that the Tekken 8 backdash is actually faster than the Tekken 7 backdash.
That's true if you don't cancel it. So the reason
Korean because all they did were they were just pressing. That's all they were doing.
Yeah,
just pressing it. Yeah.
Which I think is a good thing. Like, if you want to make the game easier for people, because Korean backdashing is an investment. That's a very time-consuming skill to learn. So if you can make the game easier for people who don't learn that, then I think that's fine. I just don't know why we can't have both. Yeah. That's kind of like reward my execution and help out the player who doesn't have the energy or the time to obtain that skill. And even honestly, my Korean backdashes were trash. Like, I am so out of practice on Korean backdashing. That is something I'm going to have to warm up before January. But that's fine. I just as far as I know, the cry out for better backdashes has been fairly universal among the fans. And it doesn't seem like they're willing to budge on this. As a matter of fact, Asuka's Korean backdash felt worse to me in the second beta as opposed to the first. So I don't really know what's going on in that regard. But hopefully, and it doesn't have to be like Tekken 7. Just make it slightly better. That would help out so much.
Yeah, because that was the one thing going back, and because I've been playing Tekken 7 for the past 3 days. And I should be playing Mortal Kombat, but I'm not. I'm playing Tekken, and but the movement is so good in Tekken 7, so it was very strange, coming back, and not that it necessarily. It's hard to tell. It's hard to like say. It's not that it necessarily was like quicker. It just was different. I don't know if that makes sense, because that's just kind of how it felt.
Well, it does, because the backdash. The space covered by backdash was just wider in Tekken 7. So you got more for less. I feel like I have to really crank that stick to get any like backward momentum now. And I never really paid attention to KBD timings. My KBD is pretty much the same with all my characters. Apparently in Tekken 8, like, people are recommending optimizing your KBD cancel timing to the character. So with some characters, you want to cancel the backdash as quickly as possible. Other characters, you really want to delay that green backdash cancel, so you get as much space as far back as possible before the backdash stops. Other characters are so good it doesn't matter. I can't remember. I wish I could name the the YouTuber who did it. Props to him, but he did a Korean backdash tier list, which was really cool. So, yeah, good. Check that out. Very good video.
All right. So, graphics, and we do want to mention like costumes too. I don't know why that goes in graphics. I feel like that should go under roster, but graphics. How this is something you wanted to bring up. So how'd you feel about it?
Yes, absolutely. Well, I think that was one of the big problems I had with Tekken 7 is I think the game, like skin textures and hair, just look really bad in that game. And the fact that because Tekken, you spend a lot of time with your character. A character is such a project. So when they look bad,
A character is a game really in itself.
Is. Yeah, there's a lot going on. There's a lot of self-study. There's a lot of grinding, like especially if you play a Mishima. There's just a lot of investment in that. Yeah. And if the character looks bad, that really affects my experience negatively. Which is why I personally think I'd put costumes under graphics, because costumes add longevity to the character when you can visually tailor how they look. I like all three costumes with Asuka. I think all three of them are pretty great. Her Tekken 5 costume looks so good in this game. Wow. I thought that costume was dumb. I never wanted to see it back. But man, now that it is back, they made it look so good. And out of I play 11. No, that's not true. I'm thinking of a different Mortal Kombat. In Mortal Kombat 12 specifically, I play about 8 characters, and I'd say for half those characters, I don't have a single good costume. And with every character I play in Tekken, I have multiple good costumes. That makes such a difference. That is so much more motivating.
And I remember playing Street Fighter 5 with you. It's like you'd play Chun-Li, and every single time that we would do like a 1st to 10, and every single time you wouldn't just press rematch. You would go out, change your costume, and then come back. And you went through like literally the entire like list of Chun-Li's costumes.
Chun-Li costumes.
Yeah, Chun-Li's costumes.
And the Ibuki too. I have a ton of Ibuki costumes.
You do.
I mean, it's a whole other topic, but I really wish we had more costumes for Street Fighter 6 right now.
They're apparently coming, but I mean,
but the ones that are coming aren't good. They're terrible. Have you seen them? They're
really?
not good.
Dude, I really like them. I actually
it's Jury in like cat pajamas.
Yes,
it's Maximilian Ken, and then it's DJs is okay. Disco DJ is kind of tight. I can get behind that, but I don't like a single nut. Yeah,
I actually really like camis. I do like Juries. Gosh, what was there? Wedding dress? Was it wedding dress Marissa? I think that.
Yes. Actually, that costume's pretty tight. I'll give it up on that.
I like that one. Who else was there? I thought Guile's. Oh, Guile. Yeah, doesn't Guile have that swaggy looking one? He has like the 3-piece. He has like a 3-piece on or something like that.
I think I vaguely remember it. I'm not.
Yeah, I remember. I can visualize it in my head, but yeah, I always thought I thought Giles looked pretty swaggy. That was pretty cool, dude. But yeah, I actually really liked him. But I mean, I could be alone in that boat, but whatever.
Well, even if you're not, like, we don't even have a release date for him, and the game's been out for half a year now.
Yeah.
So if you are excited for him, that's almost worse. Because they've been announced and then nothing, and then just nothing.
And they we'll talk about, I think we'll talk about that. Actually, that is something I think that we should bring up, because that's been a hot topic right now, is balance patches. Because one of the biggest things with Street Fighter at the moment right now is that I just grew bored with it. And after 6 months, there's no balance patch. Now, I listened to Rufomonger's video today where he talked about, like, what is too soon, what is not, because Mortal Kombat currently just had a big balance patch, and a lot of people almost, like, I can tell you that the grand majority of people really did not like it, myself included. Street Fighter, however, is sticking to the balance patch once a year. I made a mention, I commented on somebody's post saying that, well, League of Legends patches every 2 weeks. Mortal Kombat did it in the first month, but then we had things like DNF Duel that didn't balance patch and lost they lost everybody. It took them like 6 months to balance patch, and they don't have a name like Street Fighter. So it's like, I liked Rufomonger. He said 3 times. He said every 3 months So 4 times a year. I would argue 4 months, so 3 times a year, I think is a good healthy time to patch it, because the biggest thing right now with Mortal Kombat is that, dude, they just did not let the game cook. And I will stand by that, dude. They did not let the game work itself out. And I still think that they should have kept letting it work itself out. And then they did this balance patch, and the balance patch is they just way overdid it. Like too much. Way too much. So what are your thoughts on, like, on that?
It's such a. I have a take that's not going to please anyone, because by itself it doesn't mean anything. But it really just depends on the game, in my opinion. Like DNF Duel, I think, like my character lost to Swiftmaster. That was 10-0. Like Vanguard couldn't really do shit against Swiftmaster once he got in, especially with the chip damage. And then they actually did patch it relatively soon, like within a few months of the game. And I thought the game was perfect. I'm like, the game is very balanced right now. I do not want them to change anything.
Mm-hmm.
And then there was an uproar of people saying, "We're bored with the game. Please patch it." And I'm like, that's not going to fix anything. They're gonna mess up the balance, and then you're going to enjoy the game for maybe a few more weeks, and they're going to leave and wait for the next patch. It's like, no, the game's balanced right now, and ultimately they patched it anyway. My combos don't work with Kunoichi anymore, and yeah, just that sucked. That really sucked. I thought the game was in a good spot. But for Mortal Kombat,
as far as the balancing, what you said, I agree with you there. But it did take them a while to finally balance it, because I think there was Swiftmaster and was a Crusade.
Well, Crusader had a legitimate infinite. Like infinites are different. That's not balanced. That's a glitch. That should not exist.
Right.
So yeah, it fix infinites, of course. But
so
I think
that it's like there are things. So it's like, should they do it balance as needed, or do you wait? Because I think it should have just waited. And so, like I said, DNF Duel did not have that reputation like Street Fighter, Mortal Kombat, and Tekken do. So they were like, they're going into this really established industry and community, and putting themselves out there, and you gotta respect that. But it's like, if you're, what I would say is that if people are bored with the game, you need to release more characters. That's what you need to do. It's not balance patches. I think you should, find a good balance, but really bring more characters into the game. That's what you do.
There's also a threshold too. I'm sorry, continue.
No, I was going to say, especially when there's barely a story there.
Yeah, I think, I don't, at face value, I do not agree with 3 times a year. I think that's too much. But not every game has the same requirements. Like in Street Fighter 6, I think waiting at least 6 months for a patch is reasonable. I don't think that game was that unbalanced. I think some characters are unreasonably good in that game. Jury is ridiculous. That's one of the reasons I play her. I still do not think, what's the guy with the cane in a suit, in the vest? Yeah, I don't think JP needs that kind of damage for the kind of tools he has. But nonetheless, I don't think there's anything so problematic in that game that they need an emergency patch, right?
Right.
But let's say there's a scenario where a character can basically do a 90% combo with 1 bar and can safely confirm into it, and the average for a character is 40%. Maximilian's not going to say, let's wait this out. No, I think everyone agrees there is a threshold of reasonable change you can make when things are too crazy.
Yeah.
Now, the question is, was Cyrax over or under that line, under that threshold? I'm going to say, the short answer is I don't know, but I will say the game is better for fixing Cyrax. I think the game is in a better place by making Cyrax less ridiculous. So maybe over might be the, yeah.
I was going to say, I don't think it was I think they needed to tone down Cyrax, but not to the extent that they did. So like, for instance, the Raiden Cyrax combo was a problem, and I'll admit that it was a little bit too much, and I don't think they need to fix Raiden. I think they need to tone down Cyrax to where the reset time. It's like if you use like, you know, Raiden's move and then Cyrax, you know, as a block string, I think you shouldn't make it to where you shouldn't be able to do it like twice in a row, because it was getting like overly done.
And I know, and Baraka Cyrax was also a problem. Like Reiko Darius was also a problem, and the changes. I can't really even comment fully on the changes to the universal cameo system as well, with the cooldown and whatnot. But I would say that, as far as I know, the only thing I think people really took offense to was Baraka being. People feel like the Baraka changes were a bit unjust, considering that Cyrax is what put him over the top.
Mm-hmm.
And my response to that is, like, I am willing to sacrifice some characters in the altar if it makes the game better. I am not in the camp that believes there should be no low tiers. As a matter of fact, no one is actually in that camp except for idiots and liars. No one actually believes that. Because people who say buffs only don't nerf, that is a narrative created by pro players who didn't want their character to be nerfed, and somehow people were stupid enough to believe it. No one actually seriously thinks that's a good philosophy to balance a game. Because it doesn't work. There will always be low tiers. There will always be low tiers.
Yeah.
And it's a shame if Baraka got hit. First of all, I'm not even convinced he got hit too hard. I still think he's pretty good.
He is still good.
Worst case scenario. Let's say he's bottom 3. I know he's not. But if the entire game is better because of it, I am willing to take that trade-off, because that's all balance patches really are. Is there trade-offs?
But you got to remember, this is the Mortal Kombat community. In comparison to like the Street Fighter, Tekken, and Guilty Gear community, it's a little different. I mean, if you nerf Baraka, even if you're not a Baraka main, you've never played Baraka, but you like that Baraka was was one of the top tier characters, but then you buffed him, people are gonna, like, you know, go mad crazy. That's just how the Mortal Kombat community is.
Yeah. And that's fine. It's been like that forever. I'm okay with that. Like, if Sub-Zero is bottom 1, which I think you could make a case he is. I don't know if I
don't think he's as low tier as people make him out to be.
Yeah, I think he's good. It's just someone had to be bottom 1. It had to be somebody. And if Sub-Zero is the worst in the game, you have a pretty good game ahead in front of you. I do not want to make Sub-Zero as good as Johnny Cage. I think that would be ridiculous. And I think secretly everyone thinks that's ridiculous. Like I said, I don't think any smart person actually believes in the buff only philosophy. I don't think anyone takes that seriously, because it just mathematically does not work. Now, should they have done it this soon? It's weird. I'll admit it's super weird.
No, I will stand by that. I think it's way too early. Way too early. Because, I mean, week 1, everybody was saying, oh, Serena's OP. Serena, oh, everybody's using Serena. She's a really good cameo, but no, she's not OP. Same thing. I mean, Cyrax is annoying, sure, but he's beatable. I was able to beat lots of Baraka Cyrax, lots of Raiden Cyrax, lots of Melina Kung Lao's. I was able to beat. That's another one, is Kung Lao. A lot of people complain that Kung Lao was OP, you know, especially with his low hat. And Kung Lao was a really, really good. It is because of the low and the overhead. Yeah, it's a great combo. Same thing with the Melina's overhead with the low hat, but they weren't unbeatable. I was still able to beat them.
May I give a devil's advocate to that, though? If you're going to do a major patch, which I would say this is a pretty significant patch, maybe not major, but
it's pretty significant. I'm gonna say it's significant.
We'll say it's significant then.
Okay.
If you're going to do a significant patch, wouldn't it be better to do it in the off season, even if the game just came out before the major tournaments kick off in March?
Yes.
So in a way, I can see both sides. I don't really. I'll be real. I don't really feel strongly one direction or the other. I think the game is better right now for it, though. But that doesn't mean you should do it too soon, because, like, you have to apply principles. You can't like something when it works and dislike something when it doesn't. You got to kind of apply an ethic to it. And as an ethic, I do not think we should patch every game month 1. I agree with you there, 100%. Yeah. But the next big tournament, to my knowledge, I want to say is Frosty Faustines.
Yes. I don't know when that is, but I know it's the next one.
I want to say it's January.
Oh, wow. Okay.
That's probably when they're going to reveal the next Drive character. Let's talk about something less depressing. Anyway, I think in a way it is smart to do it before you have, while Combo Breaker is still a long ways off.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I think there's some weird choices. I'm surprised Kenshi and Johnny got off so easy. I think Kenshi's overrated, by the way. I do not think Kenshi's as good as everyone says he is.
Oh, I agree
But
with you. Yeah, I
yeah,
think
so
yeah, his win condition. Not his win condition. It's because I don't play him. I don't like puppet characters, but I think he's very beatable.
yeah, I do play Kenshi. I think he's good. I think he's definitely in that top 5 conversation, but he wasn't Baraka Cyrax. Not even close, honestly.
No.
And his strongest stuff has real penalties to it.
Mm-hmm.
There's giant penalties for playing Kenshi incorrectly. So I think he was good, but I don't think he was problematic. But Cage, okay, Cage was problematic. Cage probably needs a nerf.
Right.
So that's a little weird. Because Cage didn't even need Cyrax. Baraka at least needed Cyrax to be to be OP. So a little strange, a little weird.
Yeah, and I've seen some pretty good like Cage Serena, Cage. Who else is there? Yeah, I've seen Cage Serena, Cage Kung Lao. Like, yeah, it's Cage is the problem. It's not the cameo. To go, the Cage is top 5 for sure.
Yeah, but I mean, if Baraka being low tier means the game is better, I think even if it shouldn't have been done this early, I overall think the patch is a good thing. I think the game is so much better because of it. But again, you have to apply it as an ethic. In that case, yeah, I see both sides.
Right.
I'm just so glad they were just like, we're going to buff Sindel and then leave everyone else alone. I'm like, no, that game would suck. Don't do that.
Yeah. They did not touch my main, so I'm okay. I'm completely okay with that.
I don't think they touched my main either. I don't think they... I mean, I haven't played the game for a bit anyway, but I think Li Mei is largely untouched.
Yeah, she's pretty untouched. Ashra was pretty untouched.
Which is weird. I thought Ashra... I think she was good. I think Ashra...
she's super good. She's super good. You want to, like, dude, the 4-2 is like so OP. They have 4-2 all day long, dude. So, yeah. But anyway, Tekken. Anyway, Tekken. So yeah, it's that's kind of our rant about the balance patches. I can agree with you at like every 6 months. I can also agree maybe if it's needed, and that's something I don't think NRS will do. Dude, they're too stubborn for that. They won't if they have made a mistake, they will not say we made a mistake and then take it back. I don't think they will do that. I haven't heard of a developer.
They won't say anything. They'll just be dead silent like they always are. So yeah.
Yeah. I would love to hear Bandai Namco or Capcom be like, whoops, we shouldn't have done that. Let's take it back. I think Capcom will make they'll make a change and then stick with it. Like at the end of the Street Fighter V life cycle, it's just Luke's everywhere. And with Tekken, I feel like Tekken 7 was in a really good place, but I don't know. Have they made a patch where they quote balance things and then they're like, oh shoot, let's bring that back or let's take that away? Have they?
Yeah, they've done that a few times actually.
Okay.
I think I can't remember what they did, but they did something to the Mishimas with their Hell Sweep that made the game really stupid. It's been a bit of time right now. So that was dumb. Leroy also debatably broke the game. Leroy was so ridiculous when he first came out. He basically was like 6 Leroys at Evo Japan. So
I remember that.
And then they revealed him at the next Evo Japan as the new character as a meme, and I thought that was great. We saw that live actually. We live reacted.
We did. We live reacted. It was Leroy and Asuka, and you were laughing because your girl's back.
I was so happy. Yeah. I'm still so happy. I think she's great in this game.
Oh yeah.
Since we're on the subject of graphics, I think one of the great
debates I was gonna say
on Tekken 8 right now is why are all the males like hyper detailed, and the females look like anime characters? And I'm like, I don't have a problem with it for 2 reasons. And then feel free to disagree, of course. But one reason I don't have a problem with it is because like I said, I mostly just wanted what I had in Tekken 7, but better. And they fixed all the visual problems I have with Tekken 7. So I'm going to play some contentment to begin with. But on the second thought, I don't think the male characters look that good. The hyper realistic, like, nose pores and stuff like that, I'm not into that. Like, But it's really weird. If you watch like Law versus Lily,
Oh
it
man.
looks like a Christopher Nolan character
If
fighting like a Sailor Moon character. It doesn't look good. I don't. I,
you could see like a blackhead on Brian's nose or something.
yeah, like you can smell Brian. I don't like it. So it's just
Yeah.
I don't really like. Honestly, if I play Brian, I want to cover his face anyway with a Tekken 7 costume.
Yeah.
I that might be the only good design Brian has ever had. As you can tell, I'm not a big Brian fan. I think he's kind of like
He oh, I don't know a lot of Brian fans. I think most of the guys in the Discord don't like him either.
well, he's kind of like Maxi in Soul Calibur. I don't really like Maxi. I don't hate Maxi, but I definitely don't like him. Nonetheless, Maxi should always be there. If you make a Soul Calibur game without Maxi, you've done something criminally wrong. That's how I feel about Brian. So yeah, I wish the like Asuka looked more distinctly Japanese in Tekken Tag 2, and they made her more anime looking in Tekken 7. That I don't like. That actually I think was a mistake. So I do wish she went more back to having her Tekken Tag 2 face in more detail. But like I don't want her to look like someone out of like a Scorsese film. I don't want that. That's unnecessary. And I don't think Paul benefited from that. I don't think Brian benefited from that. The biggest loser of that aesthetic, in my opinion, is Horang. I think he looks terrible. Well, okay, no, he doesn't look terrible. But he just looks like a completely different person to me. He just looks like a different dude. He looks like someone in Cobra Kai. I don't like it.
I disagree 100% about Horang.
Well, I disagree with the fact that you disagree. Go on, continue.
I think this is the best Horang has ever looked. I really like the design that they gave him. I know you're probably missing the eye patch. I thought the punk rock costume was a little weird. But his default costume was really cool. The best part about Horang, is that his intro is probably like the best intro in Tekken history. When you say something to him, he just goes like, you know, it's like that's the best intro. I love that. It's the most Horang thing ever. I was alone on the Paul train because the Paul hate train, because I like the way Paul looks. I really like his design, and he just looks like a cute and cuddly teddy bear who can just destroy you. And he looks like two of my friends too. He just looks like someone I would totally hang out with. That's why I like Paul's design. And then I'm really thrilled with the Jin and Kazuya designs too. Those are the coolest things. Especially the projectiles and the particles. Like the fact, dude, one of the things about Mortal Kombat 1 is that whenever Ashura uses anything, there's hardly like any projectiles. Like I wish like some like wings would come out of the back of her or something like that. Well, that's exactly what they did with Jin and Kazuya. Is they have like the wings come out of the back whenever he, you know, uses like a heat move or something like that, and his eyes glow. Dude, it's like they put so much thought and design into just the move set. Not even so much like not just the costumes and the graphics. It's like they put so much like thought into it, and I think it looks phenomenal. The graphics, I thought some intros and outros were a little glitchy, but I think that's just polish. That's the only thing I could say about it was is the game. You can tell it was beta. It's not finished. One thing, and I think universally everyone can agree with this, is that a lot of people, including myself, feel that there's not enough facial expressions, especially with Azucena. Like she looks so bored and everything. I like that there's not a lot of facial expression with Asuka, because Asuka's kind of a brat, you know? She's just like,
yeah, she's supposed to be like a joke character almost.
Yeah, she's like, you're so feeble and stuff like that. And so, or she walks away, like she looks like she just beat you and walked away. She's like, you know, like she's supposed to be a brat. So that makes sense to me. but a lot of the male characters have expression, but a lot of the female characters don't have a lot, which is very strange.
I don't have an opinion. I guess because it's kind of like the music. I don't really notice it once the match starts.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't really have terribly strong feelings one direction or the other.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I guess I get it. I just
I want something that's going to hit me in the feels as hard as Infinite Azure.
well, I don't want it to be too expressive either, right? Like the faces, not the music. The music, actually, no, I agree. I don't want the music to be too expressive either.
Oh, dude, I do.
Yeah, there's some obnoxious Tekken 7 music.
No, I love it, dude. I love the Tekken 7 soundtrack. You can hate me all you want. Comment down below. I want to hear all the hatred, dude. If
I like Double Pit 2 a lot. Double Pit 2 is good. Infinite Azure is also good.
Yeah, I really like that. Was one of my favorite ones. I would go lab on Infinite Azure, however you pronounce it. Moonstrider 1. Same thing with the evening one too. I really like that one. Like Paradise Island. The Jungle is also really good. Yeah, I like all those, dude.
Yeah, I just the stages look also fantastic for the most part in Tekken 8. I'm a little sick of the ones we have right now. I look forward to the next set of stages, but right now they look great. They look I do hate that the treasure room is a third layer of the ruin stage. Kind of wish I could just play there by default. I hope that's an option later down the line.
Did you bounce off of every wall? Wasn't there a wall bounce?
No, I did not.
Okay.
I know there's some walls that you break through in that stage, but yeah, it's just a shame that I will not see that treasure room in like half the matches I play in that stage. So yeah, more stages would be cool, but the ones we have right now look pretty good.
Yeah. I really as far as the music goes, it's like I actually where were you? Was it Peru with all the alpacas
and the aliens? Probably.
Yeah, it was that one. I thought was a really cool stage, but I hated the music. I did not like it at all. What else? But yeah, the only thing about the graphics though was that it's probably just comes with polish. And I don't know if it was because of the PC port, because Max said something about it too, but it might have been in a different context. But it's just like the intros and outros. I just felt were like a little glitchy, but that also could be like a netcode thing as well. But other than that, like I think the designs, the graphics look great. The stages look great. My favorite thing, I said this too, was that like Brian, actually his moveset was really cool. In Tekken 7, I felt like his moveset and his movements and his abilities were kind of boring, but in this one they actually looked really cool, and they managed to do that with particles. So yeah, that's how I feel.
Yeah, I do feel like he animates quite a bit better. Yeah. But I hate playing Brian. I feel like his snake edge is faster. That could be a psychological thing, but man, I don't do well against high lows, and even though I know it's reactable, it doesn't matter. I still get hit by it all the time. Yeah. So yeah, I'd be curious what the frame data is on the snake edge now. So I mean, I'll never love Brian, but I'm always going to be glad he's there.
Yeah.
Just to wrap up the Horang point, I'm looking at, you can use his Tekken 7 costume in Tekken 8. And it's the same costume, but it just looks nothing like him. It looks like Horang's stunt double. It just doesn't look right, dude. So that's fine though. I mean, I'll take that trade. Overall, I think the females look pretty good.
They do.
Lily, I wish I could have spent more time with. I think Lily's really cool, but I just didn't have a time. There wasn't enough beta to learn all the nuance of her new combos, her new moves, just the different stuff you could do with her.
I saw some pretty cool videos of Lily. I saw some pretty cool videos of people playing Lily.
Lars, I also miss as well. I wish I had more time to play Lars. I'm so sad this game's coming out in January. Yeah. I'm ready to play it. Thank heavens Grand Blue's on the horizon to keep me kind of going. Dizzy. So. Oh man, dude, man, that's such a sore subject. But you may be right. There might be some Dizzy on the horizon. We'll see.
If Dizzy or Jam are announced, I'd be stoked. So
yes, I would too. That would be such a game changer, because I'd have to juggle 3 games come January. No, actually, I take that back. I have to juggle 4 games because Under Night comes out like the day before Tekken 8 does, which I don't know whose brilliant idea that was. But
Yeah, that's not a good idea.
sure.
Yeah. All right. So graphics, netcode. That's the other part.
People are complaining about it. I had a fairly good experience. Me and
I did too.
GKL played across Russia. Me and Gab played across the United Kingdom. I had a good time.
I had no problems playing against Gap standard, like at all. Like when we connected. Now, a lot of people have been saying they would have a lot of packet loss when they're playing against Wi-Fi. I didn't experience that, but I can imagine, there was probably some people who did, but I didn't have that problem.
Yeah, no worse than Street Fighter 6. I had a ton of really bad connections to Street Fighter 6, and I just attributed it to Wi-Fi. Just is what it is. I imagine something similar might be going on here. Now, I wonder, I don't know if Tekken 8 is peer-to-peer or if it's using servers like MK12. Because that could make a difference. I don't know if this changed anything, but I had a UK code for the beta because I didn't technically get into the beta. So someone gave me an extra code, but it wasn't domestic. It was so I had to create a British account, a British Temp MK account, so I could play the British Tekken 8 beta. I had to start calling cookies biscuits, and then it let me play. And then once I got in, I thought that code was good in both betas. I didn't really have any major. I only had like 2 really bad connections, and that was about it. If they can make it better, I hope they do. But this is the first real 3D game we have with rollback, so I never expected it to be that good. They're doing something that
is it
quite literally
rollback?
has not been done before. What's up?
Is it rollback? Did they say?
Yes.
Okay.
Because they contacted, I can't remember his last name, but the Akira, the guy who does Fighting EX Layer, he did roll. Okay, so I don't know what the 3D version of that game is. That game was 2D back when I was following it. It's the 3D game now. They made a 3D version of it. I do not know how that game handles rollback because no one talks about that game. So Tekken 8 is the second one.
I'm sorry, I missed it.
Fighting EX Layer.
Oh, okay. I've heard of it. So never even seen it.
Well, maybe it's good, maybe it's bad. So Tekken 8 will technically be the second 3D game to properly implement netcode. But they're doing something that virtually has not been done on this level at least before, especially with this engine.
Yeah, Tekken 7 is netcode's hot garbage. Dude, it was so bad.
Among my friends, it was fine, but on ranked, I had a lot of issues. Yes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I have some, like, it's always during the worst part too. Like you're juggling somebody, and all of a sudden, like it starts glitching out, and just like right in the middle of the juggle.
Yeah, well, I wonder if that's by design too, because I wouldn't be surprised if people were exploiting the netcode. Because lag switches are largely an artifact at this point. But I see no reason why people would not use it in Tekken 7. That one reason why I don't like the PC version of Tekken is because of all the cheating mods and scripts you can apply to the game. Mm-hmm. One more point for console, but quick correction: Arika, not Akira. Arika makes Fighting EX Layer, and they successfully did rollback with a 3D fighting game, assuming that 3D version ever came out, which I'm not sure if it did. Mm-hmm. So, but I know they brought Arika into the Namco headquarters to do the netcode for Tekken 8. Oh, okay. So in theory, it should be proper rollback, but I just don't know. I'm not sure. Max complained about the input delay, but when you have that vast of a moveset, that might be the amount of delay you need to calculate for that many possibilities. That's what makes rollback work, is the predictive mechanism. Mm-hmm. And unlike Street Fighter, there's a lot more the mechanism has to predict. So I felt fine to me. I mean, I'm also not the best judge of delay and latency. Mm-hmm. As long as it's consistent, I wouldn't mind. And Max said something very similar. I'll give him props for that. But I wish I had more to say, but I don't, because frankly, I overall had a pretty good experience with the netcode.
Yeah, I was gonna say same here. I think I got kicked out of a match twice, and that was it. I didn't really have any input lags, any lag in general. Like I didn't have that. So, like I said, we played against Gab, who, Grey Kung Lao. I didn't play against Grey Kung Lao. Or no, maybe I did, actually. The last day, I'm pretty sure I played against him. But Gab was in the UK. Yeah, Grey Kung Lao was in Russia. So, yeah, we didn't have any issues with that. So, I don't want to dismiss other people's experiences, because they probably did. And Max dude probably played for like ever, so he probably had way more bad experiences as far as Neko goes. But other than that, I didn't have a
Yeah.
problem.
I think a Wi-Fi filter does a lot of the work anyway, but
Yeah.
the reality is, like,
Cough, cough, Mortal Kombat. Yeah.
well, yeah, I had a better experience with Tekken 8 than I did Mortal Kombat for sure. But
Mhm.
I give Mortal Kombat 12 a little bit more leniency just because that game has historically had such problems with the DDoSing players. So I don't think they really had a choice but to go the server route. So it is what it is. The netcode I wish was better for Mortal Kombat 12, but I mean that's a fair trade-off, in my opinion. If people aren't able to play the game because their IP address is targeted, then servers might be the way to solve that. Tekken 8 might be using servers as well. Like that would lend credence to my theory about using a British beta code. I don't know.
Yeah. So okay, netcode roster. That was the next point that we wanted to talk about, was roster.
I'll let you start this off because I got like half my
All of
favorite
your
characters back.
So
I mean, Angel's not back, Lei Wulong's not back, and Anna's not back, and Julia's not back. All that sucks, and I hate it. But I got so many other characters I love back that I'm not in a position to complain. But you are, so yeah, you get us started. You take us away.
I'm kind of confused that Anna is not back. I thought that she would definitely be back. Wei Luong, I'm surprised he's not back either. I can never say his name correctly.
Lei, I get. I understand
Lei
why Lei
Wulong.
Wulong's not
Thank
back.
you. Because I always say Wei Wulong. Lei Wulong.
That's fair. I mean, I do that. I'm mildly dyslexic, so I do stuff like that all the time.
Yeah.
And I don't know. Like he is. They redid all the animations from scratch for this game as opposed to importing the animations from previous Tekken games and Tekken 7.
And bravo,
and
dude. Thank you so much for doing that.
Unless you're a Lei player. Because Lei has more moves than almost any other character.
So you have like
I think
8
it's
stances?
12, I think. I think it's 12 stances.
12 stances. That's ridiculous.
Yeah, he has the animal stances, then he has the drunken stance, and then he has sexy stance. He has back stance. Yeah, it just goes on.
Yeah.
But I mean, I don't want to go on a tirade about how Lei's actually not that difficult of a character and you don't really need to use all that shit. But I love that character and I get why he's not here. I don't understand why Julia's not back. That character is intensely popular in tournament, off tournament. She's super cool, and she is a major legacy character. I do not know how she missed out again.
I can imagine they're probably going to bring her back for that very reason.
Yeah, that's fair.
She'll probably be either the first DLC or last DLC. I mean, if you went by NetherRealm Studios history, but Bandai Namco doesn't do that. The reason why you said I'm going to let you take this is because I'm a Lydia main, and Lydia's not in it, and for whatever reason, and when she first got announced, they made her out to be like, a major deal, a big protagonist in the story for Tekken 8, and that she was kind of like Luke to Street Fighter 6 is Lydia. Lydia is supposed to be to Tekken 8, and she's not there. So I can imagine that they're probably going to bring her in as a DLC character. I really hope that they do. But by far my favorite character in Tekken 7. Why she's not in Tekken 8 is beyond me. I also play Kunimitsu. I also play Eliza. Those two are not in the game as well. But I'm still happy with the roster. Even though my main characters are not in the game, I'm still very happy with the roster. And I still am glad that they included a lot of those characters, especially June. Because that character's been just completely absent for like decades, and so a bit of an exaggeration, but yeah, it's like I'm still really happy with the roster, and to me it's like
canonically you're right, by the way. Canonically it has been decades. She was in Tekken Tag 2, but that's not canon, so she's been presumed dead for a very long she might still be dead. She might not be real. The character we're playing might be in Jin's head. We don't know yet.
That'd be just like the biggest mind F in the world. It's like the show Lost. Oh, they're dead the entire time. Spoiler alert.
I love that, honestly. I think that would be great.
Yeah. Oh, like June is actually like in Jin's head. Um, but yeah, I'm still happy with the roster. In fact, it forced me to play Jin. It forced me to play characters I wouldn't normally pick. And that's the thing I like about Tekken. It's not like Mortal Kombat or Street Fighter, to where it's like, okay, if Cammy or Jury are not in the game, I probably would not be interested. You know, even Cammy's definitely a legacy character, but I would probably try out other characters and stuff like that, but it would just be so disappointing. Saying like with Mortal Kombat, it's like the community, it's like, oh my gosh, and Melina's not in the game, they're like, oh, not gonna buy it, you know. But with Tekken, it's like, oh, Lydia's not in the game, that's cool. I'm gonna find a different character. That's how I feel, you know, about Tekken. So I'm still really excited about the roster, and I'm really looking forward to trying out new characters, and I'm kind of hoping that there's someone there that's going to be kind of similar, you know, to Lydia's playstyle, or not at all, because she's going to be like, you know, the first DLC batch. So, you know, that's my thoughts on the roster.
Yeah, I'm mostly on the same page. It's really strange. We have no capoeira characters. No Bob is very surprising. That's a very popular character outside of the competitive scene.
Mm-hmm.
Very shocked he did not make it back. Although I'm pretty sure he's on the DLC record.
Yeah, stereotypical fat American. Yeah, love it.
Yeah. Bob but he's also kind of hip as well. He's also very charming and charismatic. So he's
Bob's cool. I like Bob.
I do too. Not to play him, but I do like him. I mean, that's how I feel about so many Tekken characters. Yeah. I also like that they didn't just bury us in so many new characters again. Mm-hmm. I think we had like 7 new characters in Tekken 6, like around 7 new characters in Tekken 7, plus new characters in the DLC. Mm-hmm. I'm glad most of the characters are returning characters, with maybe like 4 new characters total, I think. Mm-hmm. So, and there's more characters in Tekken 8 than there are in Mortal Kombat 12 and in Street Fighter 6. That is a win. That is a huge, like, 10 massive points to Gryffindor for Bandai Namco for doing that.
And costumes. We didn't really talk about the costumes all that much, but dude, it's like, okay, okay, Street Fighter, you get 2 costumes. That's great. And the costumes are cool. I like them. I know you said you don't. I personally like the costumes. And they also announced the costumes 3. When they're coming out, I don't know, but I like them. Mortal Kombat, weird. It's just weird. It's like some people have 7, some people have 2, and that's a huge bummer, because I'm an Oshra main. There's literally 2, and they're decent, you know, and everything, but it's just weird. Here comes Tekken. Oh, there's 3 right off the bat. You know, it's like, here you go. Here's 3. Oh, there's 4 if you. I mean, it's 3 technically, but you pointed this out. It's 4 if you include like costume 2 has a palette swap. But gosh, dude, it's like Tekken is just given so many dubs, dude. So many W's with everything that's been going on. And there is one more thing I was going to talk about, my final thoughts too. But as far as, you know, the costumes goes, it's like, oh, we're going to give you 3 to start out.
I think that's the biggest L for Mortal Kombat as well, because it's like, hey, what if Smoke had short hair? I'm like, no, I don't like that. It's like, okay, well, what if his mask looks like an anteater? I'm like, no, can I get a better costume? Well, what if Smoke was turquoise? I'm like, stop! No, don't. Just give me a normal looking Smoke. There's so many characters. I play a lot of characters in K12, and I would say half of them I do not have a good costume for, as opposed to the 3 good costumes I have with every character I play in Tekken 8. So that's a big loss in my opinion. That was a horrible place to slip up on. And I am a little sad that Asuka's
it's weird too about that. Yeah. Well, let me say this one thing about Smoke specifically. It's like, it is so weird that it's just like, you know, Smoke is known in MK9 for having the long, smoky, wavy hair and everything. Why that's not included is beyond me. Why would you not include like a cyber Smoke, you know, skin?
You mean the one that's in the game? Why not include that one? The one they actually modeled and rendered, and that you can fight at the pyramid? Why they didn't include that one? What is going on?
Yeah, it's like, why? What is the point? It's there. You rendered it. It's there. Why, like, you know, Smoke is known for the hair. Why did you not include that? It's like, oh, we want him to have short hair and have a mask that looks like an anteater. Okay. Like, I like the short hair, but still include the long hair. It's same thing with like Ashura. It's like, okay, they got a kind of a new design for her, but I think the Ashura was a dub as far as her alternative skin goes, because they gave her the hat, which is kind of what she's known for and everything. Same thing with Reptile. They gave him like his, they gave him that costume. I thought that was pretty cool. But it's like some of the characters you're just like, dude, like what, why? Smoke is the prime example and everything. I've yet to see him. Dude, someone modded a Melina skin that looks better than every skin that's in the game. They gave her basically her MK9 skin, and it actually looks dope. So
I'd like to see that. If you have a picture of that later, I'd be curious how that turned out. I saw the Lee May skins. Most of them look pretty good.
Yeah, dude, that Lee May skin looks sick. The mod that somebody made, dude, that looks sick.
I still think she needs the cap, because that costume is a fine balance to begin with.
Mm-hmm.
So she does need the bandana / cap thing she has in Deception. But other than that, it looks great. It looks fantastic.
Yeah. So I saw the kimono one. I didn't see the bandana.
The Deception one? The bandana was omitted from the Deception one, but the rest of the costume is the MK Deception Lee May costumes.
Yeah.
That looks good. Looks pretty good.
Yeah, but that's a huge loss for Mortal Kombat. Why they're not doing that is beyond me. I wish they would. Here comes Tekken 8. They're like, here you go. And same thing as like I think Cammy's costume 2 was like one of the biggest dubs for Street Fighter, because they're just like, okay, we're going to have an entirely new look for Cammy, but don't worry. Her legacy costume is there. You're more than willing to get it very easily. And it looks exactly like the old one. It's not like some sort of like new, take on her old design. It's like, no, it's exactly like her old one. So that, same thing.
And it was $2. I paid $2 for it.
Yeah, so. It's $2 exactly. Here comes Mortal Kombat. Oh, we want to pay like, what is it, $6 or $7 for a seasonal fatality, and meanwhile you're gonna give like only 300, like you're only gonna give like $10,000 prize pool to your competitive scene. Dude, what is wrong with you? Like, dude, I don't know. I'm done being nice. I'm done being nice. Like I feel like I've been a big shill for Mortal Kombat, and I'm seriously so done being nice about it and everything. Like, the thing that's going for Mortal Kombat 1 is the gameplay. That is the one thing that it's going for, and they just kind of botched it with the balance patch. Yeah, I know that you kind of disagree with that, because you think it puts the game into a better state gameplay wise.
Well, I still have other issues with the gameplay. I still don't like the way buttons feel, and even though I'm just tired of talking about it, I still don't like the high crushing meta of down ones. I don't like how turns work in MK12, but I've talked about it to death, and honestly, I just don't want to talk about it anymore.
We don't have to. But it's like, I will end this thing, this rant right here, is that Street Fighter 6, okay, Ken and JP are OP. I get that, but they're still beatable. I can still beat them. You just got to find ways around it. I wish they would balance it a little bit. I wish they would patch it. It's been 6 months. Okay. Or something like that. I don't know the exact date. Okay. And they're doing that. Tekken, it's like, I don't know about the balancing patches and stuff like that, but you got Capcom Cup of the $2 million, Tekken World Tour. Also, they put in a lot of money towards their competitors, and there's always competitions. I just looked, and there's like 6 around the world in one day. Like, dude, they have so many competitions and everything. And they do, Street Fighter would do crowdfunding. They would do skins, different costumes, so that they can actually like fund the competition and everything. It's like you can tell that Capcom and Bandai Namco actually care about the things that matter to keep the game alive and afloat and people interested in the game. Is like that's why I love Tekken's community. Dude, they seriously have one of the best communities. And NRS just, I don't even think it's an NRS issue. I probably think it's a WB issue rather, more so, but there's just so many L's taken, with the skins, with the competition, the prize pools and everything, with, the balance patches. It's just, and it's like Invasion's super boring. The only thing going for it is the online. Is the gameplay to me.
There's another under talked about element with Tekken 8 versus MK12's costumes.
Mm-hmm.
And Tekken 8's costumes celebrate the history of Tekken. I never thought
Yes.
they would bring back Asuka's Tekken 5 costume, and I never thought
Mm-hmm.
they could make it look good. I
Yeah.
thought that costume sucked, and it looks
Mm-hmm.
amazing now. A lot of costumes are like that.
Jin and Kazuya, they still have their old costumes, like you easily.
And in MK12, it's almost like they're ashamed of the old costumes. It's like
Uh,
every alternate
wait,
costume feels like an embarrassment to them, it seems. I don't
yeah,
know. I don't know what to make of that.
it is very weird. I mean, they did bring out the Scorpion Deadly Alliance costume.
Without a
Yeah.
skull. So that kind, yeah. It's like bringing back. What if you brought back Sub-Zero's Shredder costume without the Shredder helmet? It's like, why
Mm-hmm.
would you do that? I mean, I know why they
I don't
did it.
know.
They did it so Scorpion could have lips, but I don't know. It's stupid.
Yeah. Anyway, um, yeah, that is my so back on Tekken's roster. That is my final thoughts on the roster. Yeah, my main characters are not in the game. That's fine. I mean, um, I also played a little bit of who else? Kunimitsu, Liza, Lydia was my main. Um, who else? What was the other one that I played? Who's the Filipino kickboxer girl?
Oh, Josie.
Yeah, I played. Josie was the first character I picked up because I wanted to. Because when I first picked up Tekken 7, I was like, dude, where's Bruce? I wanted to play Bruce, and he wasn't there. And Josie was kind of like the kickboxer, so I
I
picked.
will say, I'll throw some shade at Tekken for this. I was convinced Bruce was coming back in Tekken 8
Mm-hmm.
because Kazuya is the main villain of Tekken 8, and Bruce is Kazuya's right hand man.
He is.
And the fact that Bruce is nowhere to be found is super weird. I do not know why he's not back.
Yeah. And dude, I would imagine he's probably going to be DLC. I mean, how many? What the starting roster is? How many characters at the
I want
moment?
to say 32. I could be wrong, but I think it's 32.
And I'm pretty sure Tekken 7 has 51.
Well, now it does. I think
Yeah.
it had like 37 on release.
Jeez. Um, that just seems like so much development considering each character has literally over 100 moves. Dude, yeah, and they had to they redeveloped all their animations as well. Dude, that's nuts.
Well, apparently, Harada said that originally Tekken 8 was going to have the same release date as another major fighting game. Now, everyone seems to think it was Street Fighter 6. I think it might be Mortal Kombat. I think Tekken 8 was supposed to come out in September.
He said it was going to come out in 2023, and they obviously pushed that back. But I think he intended for it to come out in 2023. I'm assuming he intended for it.
Well, he said he had a bad feeling about the situation, so he actually contacted the developer and said, "Hey, when's your release date?" And they told him, like, "Crap, we got to delay Tekken. We were going to release a fighting game on that same day as you." And they're like, "Well, don't do that." So they moved it to January, which is a little unfortunate, but I'll because I have so many good fighting games on the way, I'll live.
Yeah. So, yeah, but that kind of concludes the roster portion. After this, I wrote final thoughts. I mean, what are your Tekken 8 final thoughts? Your takeaways?
I think in many ways, like we're reaching like the end of like fighting game legacy. And when I say that, I mean is we're getting past the point where quality of life is still an issue.
Mm-hmm.
So the fact that we have a good looking Tekken 8 without any loading times means we almost have like a permanent Tekken game, and we don't really have to worry about upgrades much anymore after this. As long as we have our respective characters, like we're seeing like the final release of many fighting game types. I don't know. So it's just like every fighting game before, we're waiting for something to be fixed, and I can't put Street Fighter 6 in that category, just because I have so many issues with the roster of that game. But with Tekken 8, it's like, with Street Fighter 6, oh yeah, way too many new characters. My favorite character didn't come back. My favorite character didn't come back. My third favorite character didn't come back. So I had to main Chun-Li, which is fine. Chun-Li's really fun. Chun-Li and Juri saved Street Fighter 6 for me. But
the two characters Cammy is always like my go-to main for every Street Fighter. But I really wanted to see Decapre, and it doesn't bother me that Colleen wasn't in it, but I'm surprised that Kareen wasn't in it either. So
I'm more surprised Sakura was not in it. I think
yeah,
first of all, okay, so no matter what people think of the
that's your
roster,
main in Street Fighter V, wasn't it?
well, incidentally, she's not one of my favorite characters, but I liked her gameplay a lot.
Mm-hmm.
But yes, I would say out of all the characters I play competitively, she is my best character.
Mm-hmm.
But here's my big problem: no matter how much you like the Street Fighter 6 characters, making a new Street Fighter game and ignoring the Alpha era and the Third Strike era is just criminal, in my opinion. That is not forgivable.
Mm-hmm.
You don't if you made a Mortal Kombat game and you ignored Mortal Kombat 3, Mortal Kombat 4, and Mortal Kombat Deadly Alliance,
Mm-hmm.
that you don't get a pass for that.
Yeah.
So yeah, big issues on that front, especially with how many new characters. I think most of the new characters are bad in Street Fighter 6. I don't think there's a single one I love. DJ is another one where I'm like, at least DJ is back. I love DJ.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think the other ones are duds. I don't care about Minone. I don't care about JP. I don't really care about Jamie or Kimberly.
Mm-hmm.
Like Luke is just like room temperature air. I don't have any feelings on him at all.
Yeah. I don't. I'm in a different boat because I actually like the new.
That's fair.
I don't like. I think a JP is a great villain. I'm really glad that he's there, and he's completely different. He's like, yeah. I was getting sick of M Bison. And then Aki is super cool. I'm so glad that she's in the game. That I thought was a pretty cool addition. I do like Kimberly. I really like gosh dang it, what's his name? The drunken boxer.
Jamie.
Jamie, thank you. I really like Jamie. I think he's a cool design. He has a really unique gameplay. But yeah, I actually really like the main characters, but I do agree that I think that you cannot ignore the legacy characters, and you can't ignore the Street Fighter 4, Third Strike, Alpha. Yeah, all those. I agree with you on that one. In fact, I think those characters should have been brought in way before Jamie and Kimberly and JP and Manon should have been brought in. I 100% agree with you on that one. But I don't want to ignore the new characters. I still think they should be brought in. With Mortal Kombat 1, I'm really glad that they brought in all these, 3D era characters and everything. So Ashura,
Yeah, the
Kitara,
roster is very good.
Mhm.
I agree 100% on that. The MK12 roster is amazing.
It is. Yeah, that is one thing I will say. It is so good. Tekken though, I'm yet to see. When Tekken 7 first came out, how long was it before the DLC?
It was a good while, to be honest with you, because
Uh-huh.
there was Eliza and there was Geese, and they took a good while to get the full seasonal pack announced, which had Anna, Lei, Marduk, Julia, and Armored King.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that took a healthy amount of time. So about a year overall, but I think the plan was different back then because there was no pre-order pack of DLC waiting for you when you bought Tekken 7. That is not the case now. There will be full-on
there's 4
Tekken
characters
DLC included in the pre-order.
Yeah, there's 4 characters. So.
Which is, I hate this 4-character trend with fighting game packs, but whatever. I'll take it. I think Dizzy left me with trauma when it comes to 4-character packs, right? But I do wish it was 5. Like Grand Blue has 5 characters. I think they have 6. I think it's a 6-character pack for Grand Blue if you pre-order. So yeah, we'll see.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that. But yeah, my final thoughts on Tekken was the game looks fantastic, and I'm stoked on it. I'm getting it on PS5 because I put out a poll on YouTube, and everybody said that they're going to get it on PS5, and Temp is a huge console nerd, so he's gonna.
Oh wait, we didn't talk about crossplay. We never spoke about the crossplay in Tekken, so
I thought it was great.
Yeah, the game,
I don't really have much to say on it. It just ran really well.
Yeah, same. That's all I have to say as well.
Yeah, let's just
take a moment to celebrate that Tekken 8 has crossplay.
Yeah, that's very true. That's very true.
I'm sorry. Continue.
No, it's just like, dude, the game that's the biggest thing about the game is like the gameplay feels really good. Um the movement feels different, but I hope it's kind of sped up a little bit. Because I really like Tekken 7's movement. The roster's still really good. I'm still happy with the roster. But overall, I mean, 9 out of 10 for me. If I had to put a number on it,
I'll give it a 9.5 out of 10.
there,
I do feel like there's some weird omissions. I do not like the Capoeira characters. Eddie's all right. Christy, I'm not a big fan of. I like Eddie slightly more. But it's weird that they're not there. It feels wrong not having at least
even
one
though
of
you
them
don't play them,
present.
you still feel like they should be there.
Yeah, it's a Brian situation for sure. I think I get that you can't put Anna, Lei, and Julia. Like I know there's a space issue, but one of those three should have been back, in my opinion. To omit all three, I think, is a huge mess up.
I would
Especially with
say
only 4 characters in the past.
Julia is probably the one character that should
I'd
have
agree.
definitely.
I reluctantly agree.
Yeah, dude,
Super popular.
You cannot watch a TWT event without a Julia being played.
It's funny because she's the hardest character in the game, in my opinion. I think she's way hard. Like Lei Wulong is not even that hard, in my opinion. Heihachi, I think, in terms of like to optimize him is extremely hard. Doing like an electric from crouch, yes, that's extremely difficult. But you're not really doing that all the time with Heihachi. Julia is just overall. I think even her basic stuff is difficult. So,
yeah. I was listening to Eris talk about that when people are saying like, oh, what's a good character to pick up with Tekken? In fact, one person commented on on the poll that he was like, oh, this, I've never played Tekken. Should I pick it up? And I was like, yes, 100%. This is a perfect Tekken to pick up. I still think people should pick up Tekken 7 if they haven't. But on that is that what Eris said was, dude, every character's hard. Like there is not one character that's not difficult. Tekken in general is a fairly difficult game to play. So pick a character you think looks cool, that you like, and learn that character. Even if they're, quote, super hard to play.
And if you learn one character, like that translates. A lot of that will translate to another character. I would say once you learn 3 characters, like you can pick up other characters very quickly. I would say even after 2 characters, but definitely 3. But yeah, just Tekken's gonna take discipline no matter who you play. So I would agree with Eris. And there's also like obviously, like there's some things are very difficult. Like with Dragunov, you could do his run too. That's really hard. I cannot do that consistently. I will probably never be able to do that consistently. But Dragunov still has a lot of really good tools you can use in addition to that. You don't have to optimize every character. There's an easy version of that character or an easy strategy you can apply with that character that will still make them fun and effective.
Yeah.
So, like, it's not characters that are hard. It's Tekken that's hard. If you learn Tekken, you can play anybody. So Eris is 100% right.
Yeah. And, don't really have much to say about that, but Temp, thanks again for coming on. Go out, play some Tekken, get into the game. It's going to be coming out very soon, so now is a better time than ever to pick that game up if you haven't already. But yeah, thanks again, Temp, for coming on. Really appreciate it, man.
Yeah, thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
Yeah, for sure, dude. And until next time, this is Shred and Temp out.